Hi, Miss Williams. Thanks for coming back once again this week. Um, I just want to start off again by letting you know that everything that we say here is confidential. Um, unless there is in harm for yourself or another person, I will have to invite others into our group in order to get that situation corrected immediately. However, everything else is confidential. And we'll just start off where we started off last week. Some things we talked about and we discussed was some things with your moving situation. You said that you're still in between your father house and your old house, and you're trying to get yourself together, trying to get some things rearranged, trying to figure out what's your next step. So let's just start there and tell me, what is your next step? Where are we going?
Well, right now, honestly, I don't really know what's my next step. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like right now, I'm just at my mom's house and I'm just trying to make it work.
Trying to make it work. When you say try to make it work, can you elaborate on that?
By that, I mean like I'm just trying to just make myself comfortable, like where I fit in for now, so I can get my own, comfortability.
And what does that look like for you at your mom's house?
Mm, I'll be well. I'm seeking a living room, so that's the main thing. I don't really have like a room or any place for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So like, the living room, anybody can walk in at any time, but I just sleep there.
Is that a concern issue for you right now?
Not a concern as in like safety, but a concern as just like me wanting my own privacy. But other than that, like I just have to make it work until I can.
Have you thought of things that you can do to kind of like isolate that area for yourself?
I have, but like I don't know how that will make everybody else feel. Like I don't want to just like it's the living room and just close off the area, and then like other people feel like they can't come in because it still is the living room. But then again, while I'm there, that basically is my room. So it's like I thought about like putting like a curtain or something up to like separate it,
Mm-hmm.
and at least somebody just let me know when they walk in.
Right. Right. Do you feel as though your privacy is being jeopardized in this situation?
Kind of, but not really. Because like only reason not is because I'm pretty comfortable with my mom, but like I still like it's times that I still do wish that I could just be alone. Like especially like when I'm in a bad mood, like I really just wish I could just have my own space and just that's the only time it really bothers me.
On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being least attractive, I guess, or applicable for yourself, and 10 being more applicable, do you think that your living situation is it going to interfere with what you're doing with your process of schooling and trying to change your career goals in the next couple of months?
No, I don't think it's gonna interfere. It's not gonna interfere.
So just putting a number on that, where are you at?
You said one being the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I give it about a 7.
About a 7. Well, that's pretty close to 10 though.
Yeah.
It pretty is. So, when you're evaluating that number with your space, your privacy, and your goals, how do you distinguish, or how do you strategically order your steps from that area?
I mean, honestly, my mom helps out a lot because I tell her that, how I feel being there and I don't have my own space. So she does try to make me feel more comfortable. She said, like, if I'm doing my homework or if I'm trying to do anything, or even if I'm just in a bad mood and I don't feel like, she'll tell me, like, just leave more space. Like, don't walk in and out of the living room. She does help out a lot with that.
That's great. That's awesome to know. Is there anything else that can, increase your chances in your situation right now, other than just the support of your mom?
Honestly, I don't really know how to answer that one. What do you mean by increase my chances?
Is there another person, or that you can stay with, or are there other avenues in which you can incorporate within your day to try to, stay away from that area, that space?
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. Since I'm not really home most of the time. The only time I really go there is to go sleep. After work, I go straight to school, and then by the time I get back home, it's time for me to go sleep anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to keep busy.
So what I'm hearing is, first what we really were digging into was just personal space, and how you really, even though you know that you have your space at your mom's house, there are some days or some moments within that time period where you feel as though you need more of that security, of that privacy. Um, as you continue to talk, you say, you go to school. I heard that, your support comes from your mom, especially when it comes down to your homework and things like that. From this point on, now, since we evaluated those things and kind of put them in some type of perspective, are there things that you're doing now that you can try to rearrange to control some of that privacy space?
As far as like my privacy in the house, or me not coming home like soon, like not coming home to not be there as much as I'm.
More of not being there. I understand why you're outside of the home. You made that clear. So now when you're there and you're actually in the environment, in the space, what type of steps are you gonna? What can you do?
Sometimes when I do it, like my uncle is right downstairs, so like if I want to like just change the scenery or like change what I want, I go downstairs or like I go outside. Sometimes when I just want space, I just go outside, I go for a walk. That's really it.
What I like that I heard was that you still have different options. It's not like you have to stay in that one spot. So, using that as a strength, knowing that you have your options, knowing what are you going to do to increase those options for you in the next couple of weeks to determine that you have a better outcome in your schoolwork and stuff?
Just try to keep myself more busy than usual because I'm already busy, but just try to add more things into my schedule.
Okay, that's cool. Now, with you adding more things in, does that put more of a baggage on your day?
I was just thinking about that. Like, it might be a little stressful, but like if it works, then I just have to do it.
And if it doesn't work, what does that look like?
Just have to try another way because I don't want to overwhelm myself more than I already am.
Definitely. As you think about some of these things that you want to add onto your day, are you thinking about them being beneficial to your physical care, more of a self-care thing, or is it just to occupy some of your time?
It's a physical and a mental thing too. So you always have to make sure your physical health and your mental health is on point.
Yeah.
In order to keep going.
Definitely. And just hearing you say that, it makes me aware that you're aware of some of the things that you really have to take care of and be concerned of when you're making some of your decision making. So, as we continue to work through this process, I want you to take away the things that you already are doing. Those are the things that we already have in place. And I want you to close your eyes and physically think about how those things that you want to put in those places, how that really looks for you. And you take your time and just, really structure it out in the next 2 minutes. And then we'll talk about that after you do that. Okay, so you will open your eyes. Um, Tell me what some of that looked like.
Honestly, after thinking about it, I want to say it didn't look good, but it's like I said, it might become overwhelming. So like, mm, and also a change of routine. Sometimes for me, a change of routine isn't doesn't really work because I get used to the same thing. Once it changes, like I'm all off track. So like me changing my schedule around or like changing different things I could do. I mean, it will work as far as like my frustration, but as far as like everything else I have, it wouldn't go well. So it wouldn't mix.
It wouldn't mix. So, what do you have to take away from that in order to make it work for you?
Take away what I take away from it. That's a hard question. I don't even think about it.
So, instead of answering it right now, um, what I would like for you to do is take that same question, take the same things that we're talking about now, and I want you to go home, right? On a sheet of paper, I want you to do pros and cons. Um, the activity, the specific activity in which that you really want to do or replace, I want you to put that down. What it looks like, Monday through Friday, the time frame, 6 to 8. Realistically, honestly, think about it. Is that going to help you in what's going on with you now, or is it going to cause more frustration and things like that? Want you to think about when applying this to your life. Is it not only beneficial or frustration, but is it realistic for your goal? Sometimes we put things in between places and sometimes they don't fit because of our goal structure. They might fit for the moment, but our goals. So I want you to reflect on your goals more so. And then give yourself a time range. We're talking about that today. It's not easy to say tomorrow I'm going to change or, by next week. So give yourself a realistic time frame to really think about what activities are going to help you get further to your goal and what you're trying to achieve. You want a little bit more space. You want a little bit more time to yourself. So those activities should reflect and really, really promote those things, that type of self-awareness for you. So, yes, I want you to go home. I want you to do that homework. I want you to think about that. But while we're still sitting here, I want you to kind of give me more detail into what your mother relationship is with you since you're in the household.
Me and my mother, we have a pretty close relationship. That's why like I was able to talk to her and let her know I wasn't feeling, as comfortable without her like being offended or I'm able to pretty much come to her about anything.
Um, Again, going towards your goals, going to what you're trying to accomplish. How can she be a better help to you?
Honestly, I mean, as far like as of right now, everything that she has done has helped me. I don't think it's anything that she could really change.
Other family members in the house, are they aware of your circumstances at this time?
Yeah, and also living with my grandmother and my brother.
Okay.
So everyone's aware of like basically what I'm doing on day to day life.
What about the structure of your family? Is it helping you, get geared to your goals?
I feel like it is, yeah, because we've always been pushed. Like, since a child, you've been pushed. Nothing really matters but your goals. Like, nothing that you're going through. Not saying it doesn't matter, but we've been taught to push through that. All my life.
So, is it safe to say that you were raised to be determined? Like once you start something, there's no
No quitting whatsoever.
And how has that affected your goals?
it hasn't affected it. Honestly, it's benefited because instead of me giving up, instead of giving up on my dreams, no matter like what obstacles come on, I'm gonna keep trying. Just like math, I didn't pass my midterm, but I'm gonna keep trying.
So in your career goals and your studying and your subject matters, it just has been in the an encouragement piece for you.
Right.
That's awesome. So being taught determination and never giving up and never fearing and things like that, having those traits, would that be able, with those traits, those structure traits, would that be able to help you order and kind of schedule out how things can work out within your household with your family and your private space?
Yes, definitely.
And not in a lot of details because I know you're gonna go home, but just to start thinking about that. Like, how do you take that first approach, that first step to that approach?
Well, what I was thinking about was like the career and stuff. I would go to my mom and say, hey, I know this is the living room, but I'm just trying to make it a little bit, more comfortable for me. So, I'm gonna put like a curtain up or like a little divider and see how she responds to it, see how everybody responds to it, if they're okay with it or.
Awesome, because you are addressing both problems at the same time, which is good, and you're still having the effect of wanting to know how your actions affect others, which I think is awesome. Being mindful though, this is about you. So even when you put that curtain up and you're separating yourself between your private space in the world or your family in this case, we want to continue to focus on what's going to benefit and impact you. Though it might hurt others, we will have to find ways to address those problems as well later on as we process this. But we're really tanning on Marissa. Okay, so that was wonderful that you brought that up. Now I'm aware that you are still very courteous of others' feelings, but we have to put a more positive way to cope with that strategy. Okay, so again, think about your specific that you really want to place within your timing, and then you brought to my attention your consideration for others. So I want to see how that looks like through your week, with trying the curtain and trying to do specific things, writing them down and putting them in your day, and then we'll try to figure out how that affects others, and then how we can positively include them, or just let them be aware of this is your understanding for yourself and self-care. I really appreciate you coming in today. I thank you for being very open with me and inviting me into your life. As we continue this process, we're going to continue to this process through your emotions and your feelings, and definitely try to come up with a stable way to cope and manage through your privacy issues, because that's something that we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of weeks. Okay? So I thank you for coming.
No problem. And you really made me think about a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope that we could, together process it together.